The injury bug bites again. Sort of the name of the game in the NFL, but some names of note garnering designations and again leaving you turning to the waiver wire. Here's a look as Derek Carr in that Week 5 finale suffers an oblique injury that is reportedly set to keep him out for multiple weeks. Nico Collins hamstrung after that deep ball. Devon Achane dealing with a concussion. Add that to the litany of issues for Miami, and Aaron Jones considered week to week with a hip injury. And for more, we turn to one of the finest minds in fantasy football, Heath Cummings, in with all the latest. Heath, we're looking for stopgaps here on a roster, but such is life in fantasy football. Let's talk quarterbacks first and foremost. Derek Carr, he's rostered. Is he starting? Not likely to put too many teams in a bad spot, but we're looking for changes at the top here, and we're looking for that 20-plus point performance that not many guys have been able to find. Can we find any sort of production on the waiver wire in your eyes?
Yeah, and I think you can. Kirk Cousins available in more than a third of leagues, just threw for 500 yards, and now he faces a Carolina Panthers defense that has allowed all but one of the quarterbacks they've faced to score at least 20 fantasy points. We saw Derek Carr and Caleb Williams both score 27 fantasy points against this defense on fewer than 30 pass attempts. We've seen the Falcons trend a little more pass-heavy as the season has gone on. I think they're getting more confident in Cousins' health and Cousins' ability. And I said, you talked about like people didn't lose Derek Carr, but people are losing Patrick Mahomes this week. I'm making this ad to add Kirk Cousins for this week. And the way Mahomes has played, I might just keep starting Cousins after Mahomes comes back.
Okay, and that's exactly where I was taking you, because this is a matchup-based ad here in Cousins, but we also sometimes are looking for longer-term solutions at the quarterback position. Let's turn to running back now, because it's always a revolving door. I'm not sure there's going to be too many scenarios where we are picking and stashing, but if we need to pick and play, where are we looking this week?
Well, I'm going with Tyrone Tracy, and we don't know for sure if Devin Singletary is going to make it back or not. I'm not sure it should matter. He was fantastic in relief of Singletary this week. It's funny, Eric Gray got the first drive, fumbled at the goal line, and I wonder if that didn't happen, if the Giants would have ever figured out what they had in the rookie. Tracy looked very good as a rusher. We haven't even seen him that much as a pass catcher, which is where he was predominantly used in college. 129 yards here in his first start. He is more explosive than Singletary, and a lot of times with these young guys that can make the big plays, we see negative plays. There was none of that from Tracy. So the way I would view him is, if Devin Singletary misses this week, then you can look at Tyrone Tracy as a top 20 running back. But even if Singletary is back, I think Tracy a very good flex. I want to add him everywhere.
When you're doing your homework, especially at the running back position, Heath, how much are you looking at not just the player in an offense, but also the road ahead as we sort of project what the Giants might be in the second half of the season? Do you look at that at all, or are you more looking at the near term when we're looking for these answers on a waiver wire?
I think it really depends on your team. And a guy like Tracy or Tank Bigsby, who's also a very good waiver wire ad, even if they're not a good starter for you this year, it's the type of guy you want to have on your bench. We like those guys that can be flexes if the starter stays healthy, but have that top 15 upside that Tracy just showed us if they get the opportunity. I do think that it's very likely that by week 8 or week 9, he's just the clear starter for the Giants.
The disgruntled wide receiver, also a storyline always here in the NFL. Seems like it's almost butted its head a little bit more this year. Not to say that has any implication on what our fantasy rosters might look like, but let's find a good moment. Let's find a point of, not contention, but a point of collusion, if you will. Where are we looking for wide receivers on the waiver wire?
I'm going with Wan'Dale Robinson. He was my top ad last week. We had Malik Neighbors in the concussion protocol. Robinson had a 27.9% target share with Neighbors on the field. We saw once again last week Wan'Dale Robinson putting up double-digit PPR fantasy points. This Giants pass attack has become so concentrated that I think even if Neighbors comes back, you can view Robinson as a guy that you're going to start in a full PPR league. That matters because he doesn't do a lot per catch, but he does get a lot of catches, as you can see here. In a full PPR league, he's a borderline number 2 wide receiver, even if Malik Neighbors is healthy. And if for some reason Neighbors is not able to clear the protocol, then we're looking at a borderline top 12 guy. This is a game on Sunday night against the Cincinnati Bengals, a defense that's not been very good this year. The Giants offense could get going.
All right, you've highlighted a defense that's underperformed. Let's look for a defense that might perform for us. Some teams or managers, that is, during drafts. You reach on a defense, and maybe you're not getting the production that you're looking for. I raise my hands on the 49ers in more than one instance. Give me a defense I should be looking for to find that sort of solution for my squad.
And this is why we tell you not to reach on a defense. You should take a defense.
I'm doing well in the league that I listen, Heath, I promise.
At the very earliest. And the reason is because we get these backup quarterback situations, which we're going to have with the New Orleans Saints now that Derek Carr has suffered the oblique injury. It's either going to be Jake Haener or it's going to be Spencer Rattler. And either way, I absolutely love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. They will do a good job of shutting down Alvin Kamara. And I don't think the Saints have anything in terms of the downfield pass attack with Derek Carr out. So the Buccaneers are the easy top streamer of the week. This Saints offense, man, do you remember how good they were the first week of the season? Oh, it turns out maybe that was just Carolina. No, they were good for 2 weeks, but had no chance against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. I don't think they have any chance without Derek Carr either.
I mean, they were taking measurements for the Kubiak statue, and it just has not been that. Just 16 points per game or around there since that 45 points per game in weeks 1 and 2. All right, I'm always so impressed by you guys. I love the podcast, what you guys do. It's led to victories and trophies for myself in the past before, but I'm most impressed by the rate at which you hit sleepers. And I'm not putting any pressure on your sleeper pick because it's just that. We're taking a flyer on somebody, but give me the flyer I need to take this week.
This is a guy we've been talking about for a month, Chase Brown, that eventually he was either going to take the job from Zach Moss, or Moss, like he has almost every year of his career, was going to start battling injuries. We saw Moss suffer what looked to be a gruesome ankle injury in week 5. He came back for one play. And if you'll remember, that same kind of thing happened with Joe Mixon about 3 weeks ago. We haven't seen Mixon since. I expect Moss to be out of this game. I expect Chase Brown to be the starter. And truth be told, even when Zach Moss is healthy, Chase Brown should be the starter. He's averaged almost 2 more yards per carry than has the starter Zach Moss. He is a top 3 in terms of explosives per rush attempt. Chase Brown simply is the best running back on the Bengals. As we talked about, they have that matchup against the Giants, a game we think is going to go up and down the field. I actually have Chase Brown ranked as a top 12 running back right now. How's that for a sleeper?
All right, I showed you my cards. I'm going to make you show me yours. I know you're in 1,000 leagues. Give me the one you feel wrong about more than a quarter way through the season. Like the place where you're saying, come on, Heath.
I was completely wrong about these old running backs changing teams. Historical evidence tells us that, generally speaking, a 27, 28, 29, how about a 30-year-old running back changing teams in the offseason, those guys do not perform as well as they have in the past. Those guys are not guys you want to invest in draft day. And look at it. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, 2 of the top 3 running backs in fantasy football. That feels foolish, but we're just 5 weeks into the season. A lot could change in the next 3 months.
Certainly so. Heath Cummings, he's right far more than he is wrong. We appreciate you stopping by here with Waiver Wire targets for Week 6. I got a target for you. It's the Fantasy Football Today podcast. You want to win your league? Win with us. Our team keeping you up to speed on all the latest breaking news, the notes you need, Waiver Wire targets. It's all right there, neatly packaged on Fantasy Football Today.